Yeah, it's been a while since we last saw everybody. A lot has changed. Location, status.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been 2 years. 2 whole years since we left you. The last time we saw you, it was just after New Year's Eve. 2023 in the new year, yeah. Still in Minnesota.
I can't believe that. It's been since it's 2025. That's what I really can't believe. But yeah, since 2023, last time we saw everybody on YouTube. Since you guys saw us.
So since Minnesota in the January of 23, we came back. You came back a few days after me. We spent a lot of 2023 just at home. At this point, we still didn't have a visa, so we were rejected for our first visa.
Is that why I had to go back to America? Was to like give myself a fresh start on this?
Yeah.
My timeline is a bit screwed up.
Yeah, and then if you follow our socials and stuff like that, Andre went through his like gym transformation era in 2023.
I did get swole.
Yeah, that's when that started.
I did. I'm not gonna lie.
And that was leading up till the summer of 2023.
I was a bit obsessed with that for a little while.
Yeah, he was.
But the reason why is because I didn't have anything to do.
The problem we ran into is up till leaving for the trip that you saw in Minnesota, he technically overstayed because we put in for the first visa.
And I stayed in the country.
And we stayed whilst it was pending. And the reason he had to leave, because we got a letter about the rejection, so that's why we were like, right, let's do Christmas in Minnesota. You have to go back anyway.
They kind of low-key kicked me out. They low-key sent in the message. They were like, all right, you've been turned down, but you also have X amount of time to leave before we take like action. I'm like, yeah, probably best I don't get extra dad out of the country back to America.
Literally from January 23 until June 23, we didn't leave the country because at this point, like, we were getting travel PTSD and we kind of knew the risks.
Well, every single time we traveled together, or if I went by myself, whatever it was, I always got stopped. It's called.
Yeah, from his first entry into the country in 2021.
I've been a red flag.
Yeah, he got stopped then.
I've been a red flag since Dad mentioned it. It's crazy how far we've come. But yeah, PTSD in the airport is a real thing. So when I got to come back for another 6-month entry, that was after 2023 New Year.
Yeah,
we didn't do anything.
Yeah, we didn't leave.
And I didn't have anything to do, so I just became obsessed with the gym. Because I couldn't just like go get a job in England because I wasn't here on a work visa. I wasn't approved for that. I was literally just here on a travel. It wasn't even about like a partner visa or anything.
But then fast forward to the June, we were offered to go with some friends to Ibiza. And we knew that his time was up for refreshing because that's the 6th month of the year. So we knew we needed to refresh his time again. And we knew we were pushing our luck. Again, yeah. So we didn't really know what the situation was going to be, but we honestly just were delusional enough to think we were going to be good. So we went to Ibiza. We went for a friend's birthday, which was great. And then...
Yeah, I love that.
Our flight was cancelled, so we got moved to a different airport, which is not where our car was. So it was already like showing signs that it just wasn't going to be a good journey back.
We got all rearranged. We were already stressed out about having to take a crazy expensive Uber to the airport to get to the car that had to still be paid for. That was stress. The whole time we both knew there was a very high chance that my passport was going to get flagged again, and not just like told I have to leave, but the possibility of them literally taking me into the airport, walking me to a gate to New York and sitting me down and being like, you've got to go to America like today. So that means not going home, not seeing the dogs, not getting any of my stuff, not really having a proper goodbye with her, and it just going completely south. It did kind of go that way, except luckily the woman at the gate sympathized with us massively and was just like, my advice is, you go home, you pack up your stuff, you have a plan to leave in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we had that flight out to America.
So we went
the next
back,
month.
Yeah.
So she saw that and she said, I really
that's what it was.
Highly recommend that you leave for that flight.
I think we actually had flights already booked, which is kind of what saved us because I was able to show her like, look, I do have a flight leaving. I'm only here to like until this date. So the woman was lovely at the airport that day, but I'll never forget. Is that when we got in the car and we cried? Yeah. Listen. Any of my boys out here listening to this, yes, okay. Very emotional roller coaster this has been. I got in the car, the Uber.
Yeah, because we couldn't get to our
We both had an emotional breakdown, crying, because it just felt like we were cursed at that point. When we got in the Uber, it felt like, I don't even know, 1,000,000 pounds on our backs.
You would have noticed that since then, I am now the Siemers, hence the channel name change as
Name
well.
the channel.
And that kind of relates to said Uber journey, because our situation just was never traditional.
No.
This entire thing has not been traditional. We lived together on our first date, quote unquote. So like
Our first date was me pulling up to the airport.
Like there has been nothing normal about us and our situation, which is literally in that moment from getting him finally through the gates at London City Airport, and we finally got an Uber. It's funny because I don't even recall the conversation, to be honest.
Oh, it was, we're never doing this again. I remember the conversation.
Yeah, we're never doing this again. And after our rejection, the almost year prior, we kind of been umming and ahhing about like what we were going to do, because we just knew it was going to be an uphill journey. We just knew the situation. From not day dot, but from pretty early on, we knew that we both wanted to be married. And in that Uber journey, I don't recall the conversation in the slightest bit, but I do know that that's kind of what we were just like, what the fuck are we waiting for? If this
so either we're gonna do
one decision could take away everything that we just have to deal with, and every single time we travel, like if that one little piece of paper, which is not just a piece of paper, but in their eyes it is.
To me it is too, shit.
To keep them...
Paper.
Yeah, you're not funny.
No, but it was just like, we're not going to hold this over us, like to keep us like in this position. That's what it was. It was literally, we had enough. Like, more. We already had a flight planned back to America as well, so
yeah,
we kind of cracked on with it.
We went to Minnesota in the end of the July in 23. At this point, we hadn't even told anyone that we wanted to get married or we were going to do it, because we just didn't know the situation when we got to Minnesota with getting our license or even having available dates with a judge or anything. So we weren't really sure of how that worked. So once we got to Minnesota and figured out the eloping process, because that's what we decided to do, that was the quickest, most logical way to do things. We obviously then like told our friends and families. My family couldn't come out because it obviously is just such a long distance. It was very last minute, like, and I was okay with that because, I mean,
they understood it though. I feel like your family, for your family, the ones that were in a different country instead of mine being in a different country, your family took it quite well. Like they weren't like.
Yeah, my family were okay with it. They understood why we were doing it. And ultimately that was just to hurry the process for our visas, because we just knew it was going to consistently be an uphill battle. And in the UK, in order to get a visa, which we can do a whole different thing about visas, but to get a visa over here unmarried, you have to be together for quite a long time, and it's really hard to prove that. So we already knew that being married would just kind of fast track that side of things. The minute we got married, and I'm sure we will do a whole different video about that process, elopement, will we get married again? We will answer all those questions. That immediately, once that marriage certificate was signed, was another document to put forward for our spouse visa for the UK, right, which we did the following week or 2 weeks, whenever I got home.
It was literally, we got married and she had to leave literally a week later.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy. We even got married and I wasn't able to go back to the UK to be with her, and she wasn't really able. I mean, she could have stayed here longer, but she had the dogs back home, job back home, life back here. Yeah. And so we literally got married. This is what I mean. There was a lot of sacrifice in like not really what people would say is the traditional style of doing things. We had to be okay with just doing it the way we did it, and find like the okay in that. And that was probably the hardest part at first, was getting married and then her just leaving. Yeah. And then playing the waiting game, because there was still a chance that visa we put in for could have got turned down. They could have turned it away. They could have said, well, this has all happened way too fast. We don't like how this looks, or we don't like how that looks. But essentially, we'd been together for 2 years at that point, dating.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'd already been together for 2 years, which I broke the law for twice.
Broke the law is extreme. It's not that bad.
That's what they would say.
It's frowned upon, but it was,
okay.
They let you in.
Not a criminal. I was not here.
They let you in. It was legal.
Yeah, I was not here law breaking. I never came to the country and they were like, you can't come in.
No.
Every time I showed up, they were like, it's you again.
Yeah,
right, come on,
they
bro.
slowly let him through.
Hurry
But the
up.
visa process in general was not, again, easy. We ran into some hiccups with that. It's very expensive, and like I said, we will do a video on that separate.
Do you remember what happened? But there's never nothing easy about what happens when it comes to me and traveling. Bro, I'm telling you, like I said, 45-minute flight to Chicago. We had an appointment booked.
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
Did I do something the night before?
No.
No, I didn't. So anyways, I got to Chicago. My flight was delayed. Something happened with the flight. So the flight got there late, like very late. And then, I don't know much about Chicago. I don't spend a lot of time in Chicago. Maybe you guys do. Whatever time of the fucking day it was in Chicago, traffic was crazy. I sat there talking to my guy in the Uber. I'm like, listen, bro, this is a life-changing appointment for me and my wife. I need to get to this office. Like, if you can speed, if you get a ticket, I'll pay for it. Like, yeah. I was begging this guy to just don't stop at yellow lights, like go around people. Anyways, we weren't gonna make it. The time was not right. The time was against us. Her and her super detective spyware brain. There was no phone number, so she couldn't call. I should have said that. There was no phone number, so she couldn't call and tell them I'm on my way.
Yeah.
And she ends up going on Facebook or LinkedIn, something like that. LinkedIn found who works there, went and then found them on Facebook, messaged the person and was like, yo, I know this is a long shot because my husband is currently on the way to this office to get this visa so he can come back to England and he's gonna be late. Are you at work? Like, long story short, the person was like, I'm not even at work. He said, I'm not even at work. But you know what? For some reason, I'm gonna help you out. Reached out to his coworker. He called up there, was like, girl, listen, this dude's about to be there. He's light skinned, he's about this tall. He'll be there for this specific appointment. He needs to be up in this area of the building. When I tell you I walked in, she was like, we've been expecting you. I didn't even say hello yet. I walked in the door, panic. She probably saw the panic on my face. We've been expecting you. Come. I got escort upstairs, right to the office. Even just with that process alone.
That was not a good thing.
If she wouldn't have done what she did though and thought like that, because honestly, I was in the Uber just like, I'm like, we lost again.
Obviously, for perspective, I'm 4,000 miles away in England. I'm 6 hours ahead. It's like the evening. I'm in floods of tears. Like, I'm like, if I've just spent X amount of money on this visa and we miss this appointment and we have to go through this entire thing again, I was like, this is not going to be a good ending for anyone. And I just was sat there like, there has to be a way I can get hold of someone in that building.
Rachel said,
so,
Hail Mary.
He might call me crazy for being FBI sometimes, but hey, it paid off.
Bro, she can figure out anything.
But yeah, so during that period of time where we got married and then I had to leave Andre in America, we did the visa process. All in all, it took 4 months and you were having a great time at home with your friends, but for me, it was
I couldn't wait to see my boys again. It was long.
It was the worst 4 months of my life.
Rachel sat at home isolated by herself, crying every night,
literally
snacking away or not eating at all.
I was pretty much depressed for 4 months.
And I was just with my guys back up again.
Long distance was not fun for those 4 months after just getting
married. There were days that were definitely very.
That is not how I expected to spend my honeymoon.
After the long time apart and the honeymoon that we spent separated across the world from each other, I did end up. We got some good news, which was another by the second thing as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
I had to run back. I was staying with my cousin at the time, and shout out to my cousin out there, Cole and Bree as well, for letting me stay at his house for so long. I had to get back to the house and I had like a window of like 10 minutes for the delivery guy was dropping off, which I think you were tracking again. Get to the house now, he's gonna be there the next so-and-so minutes, like make sure you're there. I got to the house, I'm not even joking, I shut the door, I walked, sat on the sofa, put my head in my hands, the door knocked. I'm like, there's no way.
And
I can't believe
that's how you
happened.
find out. Like,
yeah.
So you don't find out any other way.
No, they don't email you, they don't call you, they don't text you, there's nothing.
So you miss the delivery,
hand-to-hand
you
delivery.
Miss that finding out that day.
So, but anyways, I got the guy at the door, I met him there and he handed me the letter and we opened it up on FaceTime together.
Yeah, we did.
Once again,
cried.
Another time, a moment of tears falling to the ground from my face. Yes, it was a long process, but what that visa, what that approval meant after everything we have been through, all the money spent, all the fucking difficulties we went through, that visa meant that we were good to go.
A career update for you, because whilst you were in the very end stunt of his home stay, you started streaming.
Oh yeah, I started streaming from Minnesota, didn't I?
Yeah.
I started streaming from Minnesota. Once again, Rachel, being Rachel, calls me and she's like, "There's something I think you should start doing." I'm like, "What? Like, what is it, Rachel? I really don't have time for any like funny ideas. Like, no." She's like, "You should do TikTok live." I'm like, "Bye, Rachel. I'm not getting on live doing dances and singing alongs and all that stuff. I'm not doing that." She's like, "Just go on there and just try." I'm not joking, y'all. The first couple of times I was like, "What the hell am I doing? Why am I on here? What am I doing? What is this?" And that was today. Well, shit, over a year ago now since I started that. But luckily for that happening and the community that we've been able to build over there, it made the moving back here much more easy because I was finally finding something that I could put my time into and get something out of, and that we would be able to benefit
and we
from.
didn't expect you to
Do as well as
and be able
we knew I would do well. We hoped I would do well, but it ended up exceeding our expectations for sure.
To the point where, you know, that's like your full-time.
That's what I do. That's what I do now. Some of you guys will probably come over from the TikTok community. Big up to all you guys and watch this. That all happened in Minnesota, in America, right before I came back here. It made the transition back here very easy, or not very, but easier at least. So we were able to not, like I said, when Rachel was doing it by herself, it was by herself. So she had no financial help really. And that made me feel like shit as well. I really hated being in that position, but it was once again one of the sacrifices that she agreed to take and that I agreed to take as well to get to this point now. And I feel like it's went full circle and paid its way back off, but it was incredible to be able to come back and then have something to do.
We knew what we signed up for.
Yeah, we knew we signed up for it, but where it's taken us now, if you guys can't tell, which we'll get to more of that too. We'll show you guys around the house because people have wanted to see that for a very long time. Even my TikTok community, they've wanted to see the house. They want a house tour.
Got back here in the November 23 after his best friend's wedding.
Yeah, shout out to Polo. That's my dog.
Yeah, and then
Paige.
Our plan for 24, we spent our Christmas together, obviously like actually now married, legally, everything, so that was nice. As we were now in a better financial position with Andre finding his calling with TikTok.
Not my calling, y'all.
And we're deciding in the February, so around this time last year, what we were going to do about our house, because the house was going to be coming up for renew in the May, and we knew that was upcoming, and we decided to start looking around. Yeah.
I was streaming at the foot of our bed on like an old makeup dresser desk. Your whole room was jammed to the wall, ceiling, and almost out into the hallway. I had 30 pairs of shoe boxes in the hallway from the bedroom to the bathroom. And we've got multiple animals that are living in this house with us.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, well this is what we're doing then. So yeah, we should probably try and find a bigger house.
We looked at a few. Definitely looked at a few.
Yeah.
And yeah, we
looked at some nice ones though, honestly. Like I didn't know what we were gonna find.
Yeah. We didn't know what we wanted, to be honest.
We didn't fully know what we wanted at all.
We just knew we wanted out of where we were.
But yeah, while we were looking for houses though, this one came up. I'm not even sure if we found it over at home, if we were on the go looking at other houses or something, but I found it. So ultimately you knew it was gonna be a banger, you know what I'm saying? A hitter. So anyways, it didn't take long. It was a brand new build. The guy is the one that showed us the house, the one that built the house. He let us come in, literally walked in, and me personally, before the door shut behind us, I was like, yeah, we'll take it. We walked around, we went upstairs, downstairs, living room, kitchen, the garden, everything. We went and we looked around the whole house, and my answer didn't change one bit. Actually, she was like, yeah. So it didn't take long to decide what house we were gonna get after we saw this one. In a nice little village. I won't tell you guys what village because people are weird like that, but. So yeah, since moving into this house, Rachel's been busy with her full-time job.
Yeah.
I have been streaming, which moving into this house gave us a lot of options to be able to our old house, we were on top of each other. Like the way I yell and I scream and get excited and shut on live, she wouldn't be able to have phone calls. Whatever it might be, this house has given us the ability to be able to do it to the max.
Yeah.
And we're not even really fully maxed out on the things that we want to do yet. Even just coming back to YouTube, we've not shot one YouTube video since being in this house and showing you guys kind of what's going on, let alone update you guys on where we're at in life. And I guess that pretty much sums up until now what we've been up to.
No, this last 2024 to present day. So from moving in here in the March to present day, we've just literally just been enjoying
being home,
being together, living life legally and with no restriction, no timeline, no
pressure,
you know, mark on the calendar when we know we have to leave back,
right.
because we've just got comfortable again, which is a nice feeling because we didn't have that for so long.
I mean, rightfully so. It's been kind of a selfish year
Yeah.
as far as where our time has been spent.
But we are going to film a part 2 of this house tour and explaining a little bit more about that journey and just moving and why we even really decided to live this far away from previous location, and yeah, where we intend to go next. So thank you for watching this part 1 video. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and turn on our notifications. Make sure you're following us on TikTok, Instagram. Everything is linked in the account bio for this channel.
See you guys in a bit. Next time, we're back. Don't call it a comeback.